It was 4 a.m. when my phone buzzed. I groggily opened the notification, expecting another random work email or some group chat nonsense. But what stared back at me made my stomach turn like it had been kicked from the inside. A photo. One I shouldn't have seen. My fiancé, my wife-to-be, smiling in a dimly lit motel room, leaning close to a man I didn't know. The timestamp blinked at the bottom. 4:03 a.m. I dropped the phone. My hands shook. I couldn't breathe. I kept asking myself if I was seeing things, if it was some cruel joke. My first thought was denial. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe she was joking. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. But the doubts had been creeping in for weeks. Little things I'd ignored because I didn't want to believe them. She had started leaving her phone face down on the counter. Texts that she answered in whispers. Late nights working. Vague excuses when I asked questions. I caught glimpses of her checking her messages and quickly locking the screen. I told myself I was overreacting, that I was imagining secrets that weren't there. But there was always that gnawing feeling in my gut. Something was off. The next morning I tried to act normal. I went to work, laughed at jokes I barely heard, kept my voice steady. But every thought pulled me back to that motel photo. My mind replayed every moment of the past month, searching for hidden signs I had overlooked. The way she smiled at her phone, the way she sometimes smelled different, or the sudden necessity for girls' nights that never included me. Everything seemed like pieces of a puzzle I didn't want to complete, but now the picture was clear. I didn't confront her immediately. I watched her, studied her movements, listening for a crack in her carefully maintained facade. She was the same woman I had loved, smiling, making coffee, humming while she worked, but I saw her differently now. Each touch, each laugh, each whispered, "I love you," felt tainted, carrying a weight of deception I couldn't unsee. I questioned myself constantly. Am I overreacting? Am I imagining things? But the photo replayed in my mind every time I tried to convince myself she was innocent. I tried to gather evidence. I looked through old messages I'd overlooked, the ones she left open on her computer. Casual, friendly conversations with someone whose name I didn't recognize. The words were innocent at first glance, but then the subtle hints appeared. The jokes, the inside references, the timing that made no sense. My chest tightened as I realized it had been going on longer than I wanted to admit. Finally, I couldn't carry the weight of suspicion any longer. I sat her down in the living room, my voice shaking but my eyes steady. "I saw something," I said quietly. "Something I shouldn't have." She froze, her hands gripping the armrest of the sofa. I saw it in her eyes, the fleeting guilt, the panic, the shame, and suddenly the silence between us was louder than anything I'd ever heard. She confessed. Not immediately, not cleanly. Her words stumbled, spilling over each other. Yes, it had happened. Yes, she had met someone. It wasn't planned at first, she said, but it became complicated. She cried, begged for understanding, spoke of love, of confusion, of mistakes. And I listened. I wanted to scream, to hit, to throw things, but mostly I just felt empty, hollow, like the person I thought I knew had disappeared, leaving only this version of her I could not forgive. The following days were brutal. Every memory felt like a lie. The way she kissed me goodbye, the whispered goodnights, even the mundane conversations at breakfast, they all carried the shadow of betrayal. I questioned every laugh, every touch, every promise. But alongside the heartbreak was a strange clarity. I realized that I could not stay in a life built on lies, no matter how much I loved her. I told her it was over. She begged, she cried, she tried to explain, but I couldn't unsee that photo. I couldn't unhear the hidden conversations, couldn't undo the moments that had been stolen from us. Walking away hurt more than anything, but it was also the first step toward saving myself from a lifetime of doubt and pain. Weeks later, I find myself remembering her sometimes. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with the quiet understanding that love, even when real, doesn't survive betrayal. And I've learned something crucial. Heartbreak can break you, but it can also make you stronger. That 4 a.m. photo shattered my world. Yes, but it also forced me to reclaim it. And for the first time in weeks, I feel a little lighter. The pain is still there. A quiet echo, but I am still standing. I am still whole. And I know that one day I will love again, without shadows, without secrets, and without the betrayal that taught me the hard way what trust really means.